This is not an ad, so please do not skip. In this episode, we are dealing with some pretty heavy subject matter, including death and addiction. If any of these topics are a trigger for you, please consider whether or not to keep listening. If you or someone you love is struggling with substance abuse or in need of mental health services, please call the National Helpline 1-800-662-4357 or go to Findtreatment.gov for a list of services in your area.
Welcome to the American Grown Podcast, hosted by Austin Sullivan. The American Grown Podcast will focus on people from different walks of life and their journey to where they are now. Now, turn up your volume and settle in for a great episode.
Hi, I'm Austin Sullivan, and I'm your host for the American Grown Podcast, recorded inside the Colortech Creative Solutions studios. Today, we have Justin Snyder, once a longtime server at the Inn 422. Now, he is the founder of a popular Facebook page, Lebanon County Weather, with over 24,000 followers. Justin, welcome to episode 14 of the American Grown Podcast.
Hey, how are you, Austin? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, hey, thank you for making it in today. So, for the listeners out there, Justin and I actually met a long time ago. I used to have hair on the top of my head at a local place, local restaurant actually, very popular, very well known, the Inn 422.
Yeah, you were just a kid then, very mature kid growing up fast, and I don't know, watching your family grow up over the years. Dang, and here you are.
Yeah, 30 years later, it's crazy.
Gosh.
And you were a server there with Scott and Crystal.
Yes.
Was that your first job?
It was. Scott and Crystal, they were like a family to me. They still are like a family to me. Scott and Crystal purchased the chapel, the Coleman Chapel, in 1999, I believe it was. They had a vision of restoring this beautiful, what we all thought was a historic chapel, but actually is not registered historic. And they had a vision of saving this beautiful church, this sanctuary, for marriage. So that is when I was employed with Scott and Crystal, and it wasn't on the books right away. It was more like I was a little kid, and they're like, here, this kid's interested. So I was mowing the grass, and wow, you're taking me back here, bro. You're taking me way back.
It feels like just yesterday, but I mean, it's been sold now for...
Scott and Crystal sold the chapel in 2006. They made it a very, very popular wedding venue in Lebanon County. They did something that I don't think anybody has ever done. They were very successful. They had connoisseurs push Nick Steiner on stage. I think Scott was somewhere in Palmyra. He started as a diner up there.
Okay.
Scott and Crystal up through it all. Eventually got the Inn 422. I think they bought that in 1995.
Wow.
So they had a vision of a bed and breakfast, but also a little sandwich shop to be open during the day. And so the Inn was born.
Yeah, and it really took off as kind of the place to go for, a little upscale, a little fancy. I remember Scott would always bring out his baked Alaska. Tell his stories about it. Oh, he's so passionate about it. And the food was great. I mean, the food was very good. Now it's hibachi, I think it is. Yeah.
Scott was, when you say about Scott bringing that dessert out, let me tell you a little thing about that. Scott Ungst was always in a book. The guy's still in a book. Scott was always reading, and he was a very, very knowledgeable person. So everything that he would tell a guest was something unique, and it was most likely something that he experienced in his life. He once told me he would never make anybody do a job he wouldn't do. And he was true to that word. And that was the mentality of Scott and Crystal. They were, this little family. And it was really, in the beginning, it was all family at the inn working. And then they got bigger. That sandwich shop grew, and they decided, hey, let's open up on the weekends and see what happens. And
it's a beautiful, beautiful location. It still is. Of course, different ownership and everything, so they remodeled it and everything's different. Like you said, it felt like family, it felt like home. We'd go there for birthdays. It was just the place to go when you wanted a nice steak. You wanted something, brunch. Brunch was another good one, So it was just phenomenal, and the food was always good, and the people were great. The staff such as yourself, you were all very professional, and it wasn't like snobbish or snooty. Like, it didn't have that kind of feeling. You know what I mean? Everyone was, accepted there, and everyone could have a good time and a good meal. So now when you, Justin, said you started there, you were young. You were like a kid. So let's go back. What was your childhood like?
Well, it was a very good childhood growing up. I can't complain. I really can't. I had wonderful parents. They're still alive, thankfully. I love my parents dearly. They've been through my rock and bottom. But growing up, I never had nothing that I didn't, want. My parents made sure we had it. We weren't the best in the financial situation as a kid, but I think that the grassroots of the country, I can speak for everybody, everybody struggles and stuff. So, growing up in my generation, shit was a lot different back then. I mean, hell, I remember the old Tinker toys, the actual ones that you rolled and that you couldn't break the metal ones.
Oh, wow.
Do you remember anyone? You're too young.
See, I'm a little younger. Not by much, though. Not by much. We were talking before we started recording. It's only like a 7-year difference, but I remember like the Lincoln logs.
Yes.
Man, they were legit, like sturdy, building that.
You can't find them no more anywhere. What?
Everything's cheap and breakable. And that's what the big corporations want. You have these toys and, it breaks. We'll just go buy a new one. That's the solution.
That is I don't like it.
Growing up, you're working at the inn, high school. What was that like? Let's go about high school. Was there some people are into music, some people are into sports. Any teachers or coaches that were mentors for you while in school? Yeah.
There was a lot.
And where did you go to school? I'm sorry.
Lebanon High.
Okay, so you're local.
Wonderful school, wonderful education out there. And today's programs that they have for these kids, it's just phenomenal. Things that we didn't have then, and I see what they have now. These kids that don't want to take education seriously, I really wish they would. And I wish I would have taken it more seriously, but hey, I don't think it turned out bad.
No, not at all. Well, was there anything in particular, though, that you remember from high school? Maybe a particular teacher, or were you into music? Were you
I was more of a loner, but a popular geek, if you want to say. I would call me that. But I was also sometimes a badass because...
Really?
I was always, especially middle school, Mr. Murky, please report to the library classroom. And you knew you were in trouble, and it was always suspension.
Yeah.
And that tenure of mine continued into high school because I never really respected authority back then. And, I had to learn growing up what that meant. And so my passion in school was, I guess, helping other people. I always tried to help people by making them laugh. So,
yeah,
Austin, that's when I think I realized that that's what I want to do in life is like help people and da-da-da-da-da. And I think that's where I had an interest in the school newspaper in high school.
Oh, okay.
I was the photographer and at one point editor, I think, in chief. And I think Miss Agnew, she did this incredible program. And so it got me... like you get into a mindset of doing things. And I think, doing that in high school set me up for what was later to come in my life.
Yeah. And high school was also on our school newspaper, which for any listeners out there, if you're still in high school or whatever coming up through, get involved. I think it's big to get involved, whether you're into music or sports or, if your school has a yearbook or a newspaper staff, get involved with that. Because I did the sports photography. And, it's fun on a Friday night. You get right there on the sidelines taking pictures. You get to interact with these athletes and then some, going to college and stuff like that. So definitely for everyone out there, if you're in high school, be a part of something. You don't always have to be the star athlete, but get out there and have some fun, especially while you're young. After high school, what was it? Some people go right into the workforce, some people CTC and or I shouldn't say that, but yeah, technology school. Some people go to 4-year school. What was that for you? Was it right into the workforce?
Scott and Crystal hired me when I was, my goodness, 14, I think, maybe.
Oh, wow.
At
So
that
you were
time.
young.
I was young. I was young, man. I worked for him for 20 years at between both locations when they retired.
14 is very young to be working.
Yeah.
Was the restaurant business always something you
Well,
wanted to get into?
That's what got me, going right from high school right into working gave me a different respect towards authority, I think.
Okay.
Because that's when I started to turn into an adult. So I'm growing up in this time frame right after high school, now going into real life, not having those people around, not having those familiar faces that you used to have in high school. So shit, it's scary. And what do you do? So I find after high school, I find that I'm partying a lot more.
Okay.
I'm 21 now, and alcohol. Alcohol started. But long before that, when I was still in high school, Josh Shank.
Okay.
Actually, he's the fire chief of the Neversink Fire Company right now. Wonderful guy. He was at the time, and he still is, a township of West Lebanon Township employee. He was a volunteer fireman from the age of 14. So this kid's given, well, he's an adult now, but given half his life, to helping people. So he decided it would be a good idea one day on the bus to give me a membership, and the history starts. I think that was, I don't know, 2002, or it was right after 9/11.
Okay.
And that's where I was like, this is what I want to do.
And so that kind of segues you into becoming a firefighter, and I don't know if EMS was involved with that.
Yeah, it was a basic, very, very at the end. But the basics that I learned back then, it just seems like that's the common sense stuff, but today we don't practice it. So I don't know. The knowledge that I have is I could be life-sustaining for you if in the event something were to happen. That's
huge. I mean,
I don't have any of my certs anymore, but I think they're just a piece of paper. If you know the skill, use it.
Yeah, and I think once you learn it, that's probably always with you.
Yeah,
you know
it's never gonna be not there.
Yeah.
It's and I say I gave half my life, I meant it. I gave half my life and half my body. I should say half my body because I live in constant pain now.
So being a firefighter, and you're a little bit older, maybe in your 20s. How many years were you a firefighter?
Oh man, well, so
roughly
2002 to 2017, and
holy cow!
Yeah,
so that's quite some time.
Yeah, but that all came to an end. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
That's a different topic.
Okay.
But
before we get off of it, is there one particular emergency you went out on, and you don't have to get into details and names, but that you were like, wow, this is bad, or a certain, because I know things happen around Lebanon County, and some fires are big, and anything like that you can remember that you were like, whoa, this is.
There's
like,
so many, and I would rather not, but I will.
Okay.
And I don't know where this is going to take us, but it was really the beginning of the end for me, because this is really where I started drinking. I mean, heavily, because this in particular call got in my head, and it was very hard to get it out of my head, and for a very long time. The one call that you are asking me about was behind the Lebanon Valley Mall in the mid-2000s, maybe 2016, maybe 15, 14,
Okay.
Doesn't matter. I don't know the year. We had fire training that Monday night. It was a Monday night, and I was just exhausted. At that time, working almost 2 jobs, I think, almost 3 jobs, I think, and a call came in. Now, I made a decision. I wasn't going to go to this training tonight. I'm just going to relax. And that is exactly what we were going to do, me and my family, that night. And the call came in for a pedestrian struck by a train. The thing about it, Elston, is I was out back on my swing, and I heard this god awful. The horn, why the hell am I hearing the horn? Why the hell is it coming way from the mall side? Why am I hearing this horn?
Yeah.
Because it was going eastbound. It was west to east.
Okay.
So it was coming towards the city of Lebanon. I hear this awful screech noise, and it's like, what the hell? And I knew it was a train. Never put two and two together. Dispatch comes in. Reality sinking in now. And oh no. Shit. Mom's car was there. We jumped in. I got to the tunnel at the Lebanon Valley Mall.
Right, and you live, just for the listener, fairly close to proximity. We won't get exact,
I live within 2 blocks, not even that, 2 blocks.
Yeah.
So for my route of travel, which to the fire company was always the tunnel, is the quickest way. We didn't have rudders back then. Right. So the familiar where you're at, guys are at, I live right next to the Coleman Chapel. So to give you an idea, that's where rudders is now. So to get there,
you hear the whistle, you hear the screech.
For my route of travel, at that time, the red light it was not the quickest route of travel. And then you have 16th and Lehman that should have a red light. But so anyway, we go the tunnel way, and I see pedestrians on the bottom side of the undercarriage. I see. At that time, they were Lebanon Valley Mall security officers, and they could actually do things in that mall. But anyway, I see one that would later go on to be a North Lebanon cop, is white as a ghost.
Wow.
So I'm like...
something serious, something very serious.
So I'm like, shit. I said, Mom, get out of here. The engine's going to be coming. I never communicated with my guys, that I was going to be on this scene until I got there. So I said, throw my gear on the engine.
Okay.
These guys were a little delayed by doing that, so they get there a little later. In that time, I go up there and I see what I think to appear be a horrible prank. Somebody threw a dummy out of their Boscovs, those mannequins.
Oh, yes, like a mannequin, yes.
So
yep.
I'm relieved. I was like,
just some kids messing around.
Now I'm pissed, though. And this cop is just, or not cop at the time, he was security guard. He's mad. And he is just like, he's not mad. He's white as a ghost. He's scared. And now I go back and I look down and I realize that there's a gash in this mannequin's head. I feel for a pulse and I feel warm.
Whoa. So now you know.
This shit just sank in real quick. And it's like, I'm taken back because the way which the body was laying wasn't human. That's why I thought it was a mannequin.
Something fake, right. Just a prank. So that instance there, traumatizing, for sure.
That did it. And
the
paramedics on scene determined that there was a pulse. I don't believe there was a pulse from what I witnessed there that day. They took the person off the railroad tracks and attempted life-saving measures. And the person was pronounced dead
at the scene.
At the hospital. Wow. They declared him dead at the hospital. He was long gone before that.
I can only imagine. When you got there, the security guard, did anyone say how the person was up there?
Well, it wasn't known. It was chaotic. There was no way to know at this point what the hell happened. We just knew somebody got hit. So this guy's, he's hysterical. He's down now. They got him off, and that's fine because this isn't for the right people. You got to have the right mindset to see this. Yeah. So I immediately, after knowing this, run. And I don't run. At that time, I was a bigger guy, but I don't run because I just think if you run, it's silly. But at this time, I'm running because I know we have younger guys on my engine. I got to the top of the tunnel, and I remember doing the X.
Yeah, like don't come, or?
The X, typically, like if you're a race fan, that means, get here now.
Oh, okay.
For me, the indication, the X, and our driver, my best friend, Sarge Brenner, knew what I was relaying, that this was fatality.
Yeah.
So, I got goosebumps talking about this.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you sharing it.
He kept the younger guys down, and we got up there, and it was just, oh, man.
Because growing up as a kid, it's always, you don't play in the railroad tracks, you don't play in the tracks, and you, how do I say, you respect, obviously, you look both ways across the street and things like that. So I can only imagine what that was and the impact it had on you. Now, you said that led to your drinking, which you had mentioned on the forum, and we talked before the podcast that you'd like to touch on it.
Yeah, that's going to be half this story here.
Yeah. Take a drink.
Let me take a drink here.
And we're drinking water. We got to stay hydrated because, again, it's pretty hot.
It's hot out
It's pretty
there.
hot out
I'll
there.
give you that. But to me, it's not. And I'll explain why.
Okay.
But as a firefighter. But now we'll go on. Here we go. So, yeah, alcohol. Alcohol became a big part of my life. You're right out of school. You're making your own life. You're involved in the fire service. Obviously, back in those days, in my tenure, you drank. And the guys still do today. I know they do. Most are more responsible than we were back in the day. For me, it was party life. And I just couldn't get over the party life. Harrisburg Hardware Bar every weekend. Dollar drinks, girls up on the bar dancing, whipping. You're getting your ass whipped up there if it's your birthday. They pour tequila down your throat. It's something that the kids today don't know. It was an addicting nightclub, and downtown 2nd Street in Harrisburg's where it was. Well, we all know what that is. It's Bar Alley. At that time, now it's Restaurant Row, they call it. But back in my tenure, that was Bar Alley. So it was nothing to have about 5,000 drunk people walking down 2nd Street. Wow. And when they had, back then, they would do these bar-thons. So you were getting thousands and thousands of people into that little strip.
It's not a big area. I mean,
no. Downtown Harrisburg at the Hardware Bar. But between all those bars, you had thousands of people. It was crazy. It was something like you would see.
Packed like sardines.
Yeah, well, when there was events, when they had the bar crawls, and they would do a tremendous, they would give away shirts, cups, and that would get you like 4 hours of free drinking. And then, that lures you in. So the free is over. You're stuck, but you don't care. You're so...
Right at that point.
That was my life, and I didn't want it to ever end. So just keep fast forwarding. I continue to consume alcohol because the main thing with that fire call that really messed my head up was the fact that for me, I got relief from that noise, that train, that horn. So it blocked it for a while.
Yeah.
And it worked. Shit, man. So, okay. Well, there's a lot more that go on in my life, traumatizing things, and that just progressed. It just progressed.
It seemed like it was a kind of a quick fix, and like you said, it helped you get through, very traumatizing event in your life, and then others to follow. Being a firefighter, that's kind of sadly what comes with the territory. I mean, you hope if you show up on time and the people in the house are awake and able to get out. I think a lot of people maybe think that you guys just go put fires out, but there's so much more to it than just spraying a hose and you know what I mean, and putting the fire out. There's real people and real lives at risk, and it affects you, the firefighters also. Everybody thinks you're just like Superman, and you're human too.
Well, and not to take away from the firefighters, Austin, at all, but I mean, that goes for anybody that's in public safety. That's CMS, that's dispatchers, that's firefighters, that's police officers. A lot of people that you don't even realize do this stuff for very, very, very limited money. And a lot of, like the fireside guys, they're free, they're volunteer. And I think it's sad that people that portray people like this on TV make more money than the actual people doing it. I think it's terrible.
Oh, I totally agree. And the way it's portrayed on TV is almost like that superhero-like power, and it's, I think, unrealistic.
It's not realistic. I mean, you got shows like Chicago Fire, and I'm a fan of that show, and Chicago Med and PD. They do a very good job at demonstrating to the public what we go through. And it's not, it's for TV, so a lot of it's far-fetched, but a lot of it's done realistically. And they're going to have storylines, but I'm a fan of them shows, and they do a justice, I think. I think they do a justice to the police, more so than our media and our social media.
Right.
I mean, when I grew up, you respected authority. And that goes back to when I said to you I was starting to learn my life, and I started to respect authority. And that's why I'm so thrown back today when people disrespect authority, disrespect the law. Where'd we get to in a country where F the police is now acceptable, defund the police is now acceptable, volunteers now more than ever are needed because nobody treats them right. They want to walk away from this because of all the traumatizing shit that they got to deal with. You understand how many cops are close to suicide right now in this nation, Austin?
Yeah.
Because of social media and bad portrayals of other things. So I think when shows do things like Chicago PD and the Fire Show, it's good.
I would agree. There's good and evil out there, and it's supporting the good people, the volunteers, the people that don't get paid what they should to protect us, because there is real evil out there, and that's why you need your military, your police, your firefighters, your EMS,
Yes.
because the average person, and even myself, we're kind of the last line of defense. You don't want to face that evil. Everybody's human, right? So we're not perfect. We make mistakes,
Correct.
We all F up at times. We do. And but it's making it right and picking yourself up, because again, those people are the front lines, our military and then also firefighters and police officers. So it's important to, like you said, show them respect. And I think I don't know. I can't speak of what's going on in the country. There is a change, and it's kind of scary to see. It's like these are the people you're going to call if someone breaks into your house, or if your car's on fire or your house on fire and there's a child in there. You're going to want these people. So you should support them in the good and bad. I mean, of course, hopefully they acknowledge if they did something wrong and this is what we're going to do to better it, and they get the proper training. But I can't say what's going on with the country because I don't know, but hopefully next generation's up. They learn to respect, and even elders, just respect in general. But Justin, let's get back on. So now, firefighter, drinking's involved, heavy drinking and things like that. I'm assuming at some point you have a sober journey. You start to realize this is an issue. And
yeah, I attempted rehab several times, and it was all for alcohol. And while they were wonderful programs, the first one was in White Deer Run, and it wasn't the one around here. I never got out of detox over funding.
Okay.
I didn't get out of detox over funding. And we had to go through all kind of hell to try to keep me in this rehab facility. This is how this country's backed over, how it's wrong. So I get in, go through the detox program. I'm sober for 3 months, possibly after this.
Yeah.
Not much. But I'm sober nonetheless, but I'm miserable. I'm finding that I am testy. I am a son of a bitch.
All right. You're edgy.
What the hell happened? What's going on? Oh, goddamn. Go to the doctor. I get put on all kind of
medicine.
And
right?
it's stuff that I'm taking to this day.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you how I got to that.
Okay.
But I was so reluctant, and I didn't want to take it, but I knew I needed to do something. Well, keep fast forwarding. I'm still a fireman. I'm still working. I'm still seeing shit. I'm still a human being at the end of the day, and everybody has to have something to unwind. And for me, it was always alcohol.
Take the edge off and
Relapse.
relax.
Here it goes, relapse.
Yeah.
I relapse. So start drinking again, Austin. Mm-hmm. Ends up another year or two later, the love of my life I lost over alcohol. The love of my life. I'm not going to say her name out of respect and privacy, but, I was with this woman for 9 years.
Wow. Yeah.
Off and on.
Mm-hmm.
But my alcohol addiction made me lose her. And is a main reason I continue this journey, the way I am going forward, as a reminder of the person I never want to be, because I hurt her. So anyway, I go to a rehab. She was the second rehab, and I don't remember the name of the facility, but it was fantastic.
Okay.
I was in C4. I'm sure the name will come to me. Oh, I don't need tissues, brother. Oh. I'll be all right.
No, they're here. They're here.
I get it.
Seriously,
I'm gonna spill from my gut.
Okay, I appreciate it. And for listeners out there, Justin did say that you wanted to get into this, and I appreciate, because I don't think enough people talk about mental health and the issues. As men, you're supposed to just be this tough guy and you put up with things and protect the women, which of course, that's what we're here for. But at the same time, hey,
We're humans.
We're humans, exactly.
We all
So
are
I'm sorry to
humans,
cut you
and
off. They're here.
You're fine,
They're
brother.
here.
No,
Okay.
you are fine. You are 100%.
Please continue. I'll have a sip of water.
It sounds like a good idea. Me too.
Yeah, take a sip. So now you get to this new facility. Much better. You're just saying.
This facility was better. And this facility I took seriously. And this facility, I really wanted to pass this one because I was in the process of losing my girlfriend if I didn't. So I'm really doing this for her, but I really wanted to do it. I really wanted to make this work. So, okay, I come out of rehab. It's not working for me. Nothing's working for me. The meds, they're helping me, but I start drinking again. So she's aware of it. She understands it. She understands addiction because she was an addict when we got together. And I told her it's either me or the drugs.
Okay.
She chose me.
Wow, that's huge.
This is why I beat myself up, because I could never choose her. I always chose that alcohol.
Yeah.
So anyway, we go about our lives, and it's better because I'm drinking, but it's not better because I'm drinking, if that makes any sense. I'm tolerable, but I'm nasty. I'm nasty to her. I'm nasty to the ones I love. And I don't know what the alcohol does to me, but that's what it does to me. Okay?
Yeah. And it's not like you want to. It's just the effects, like you said,
No.
of drinking.
And it's not because I want to drink. It's because I felt like I had to drink because I wasn't getting relief from anything. Fast forward, I go to my last and final rehab.
Okay.
I ended up graduating that rehab, and I still screwed up. I screwed up after that rehab. But
so when you say graduate, I don't want to cut you off. When you say graduate, what does that mean? Because for the listeners and for myself,
the rehab I graduated, I have that actually backwards. The rehab I graduated from was the one that I really liked. That was a good facility. Okay. The rehab that I went to, the one that really got me, like it made sense to me, that got me to, be okay. You get your life together now. It was Gedunzia.
Okay.
And that's up there near Harrisburg, and it's a co-ed unit. It's a wonderful unit.
Yeah.
It's Gedunzia saved my life. It's females are on one side, males are on the other side, but this rehab believes in putting everybody in a hostile situation during their recovery.
Really?
It's almost like a TV show. I shit you not.
Yeah.
It would be because, and it's a wonderful way they're doing it. So the men all sleep in a secured, locked men's area. The women all sleep in a locked, closed, and trust me, they are monitoring with cameras and stuff. So they're,
So you're separate? Yeah, I mean, you're totally separate.
at nighttime.
At nighttime, yeah.
But during the day, hell, in rehab, you're horny, and people, guys and girls together,
Stuff happens.
You're going to flingle and mingle any chance you get. So this rehab focused us on, I'll take that tissue.
Yeah.
This rehab focuses people on working together, sober, through your everyday program. So you have counselors. That's it. You have 4 counselors, 5 counselors. You have a kitchen lady who's your cook, well, your mentor.
Yeah.
You have your people on call, who are your mentors. They're your staff that you can go to for anything. And you have programs that you have to go through the entire day. It's like a routine. You start in the morning with breakfast, but guess what? Who's going to cook that breakfast? So this rehab says, none of us are going to do it. You guys are going to do it. So they designate out of everybody, they get to know who we all are in this rehab. And by the time you would come into this rehab, this chain is already happening. So everybody has been in there, and already they know this person can cook, and there's a routine going. So you're coming in, you're scared, you're new, but you're going to go in real quick, because everybody in rehab, some of the nicest people I have ever met in my life were in rehabs. I shit you not. And these are terrible people. The world says addicts are terrible people. Alcoholics are terrible people. Some of the nicest, I'm going to say it again so your listeners can understand me. Some of the nicest people I have ever met were in rehabs. There's beautiful people out there. But this program would make us like we would cook. You would have to cook. You were responsible. You get up in the morning at 4 a.m. and you cook or nobody's going to eat. Somebody was in charge of laundry. Some was in charge of running our group. We called them our group leaders. And everybody had a job. Everybody was responsible for an activity throughout that day. And what did this do? It showed that if we can do it in here with total strangers, what's the difference on the outside with total strangers? The difference is sobriety. And you come out of there and you go, holy shit. This program made sense to me, and that program made sense to me. I'm not going to lie, I messed around for a while. You know how I said to you, finding relief?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You want to know what I've done, Austin, to find relief and get away from the alcohol?
Yeah, seriously, yes.
So I'm just going to be straight with everybody out there. Marijuana. It started as an alcoholic. Don't ever bring me around marijuana. I hated marijuana.
Yeah.
I did not want to play with marijuana. I tried it a few times. Bad experience. Fast forward, I'm getting more responsible roles. My current job, Hobby Lobby, hell no. I worked at Hobby Lobby, but no longer, and I do not miss that place.
Okay, yeah. I can tell just by your facial expression. We don't have to talk about it if you don't want.
It would never be nice, and I don't want to bad talk anybody that can't defend themselves.
Yeah, and I don't see you as being
It was
Hobby
not
Lobby.
a nice company.
Yeah.
It was not a nice company to work for, and people were great. Company backwards. That's all I'm going to say.
Gotcha.
But my tenure there was nice. I'm at Longhorn now, and I feel like I'm at home. I feel like I'm at family. I feel like that Scott and Crystal vibe is here I am. I'm back. I'm home. I have that family in the kitchen.
Huge. That's huge.
And this is a big part of the sobriety for me and getting away from my life that I used to have. My life, oh, Jesus. It was clubs, it was bars, it was casinos, it was anything bad, cocaine.
Right.
I mean, did you know I was doing cocaine?
No, I would have never known any. I mean, no. Because whenever I saw you, you were very, like I said earlier in the podcast, you're very professional and you're very well put together. I mean, you always dressed appropriately and things like that. So I had no idea you're fighting these demons, but it makes sense.
You would have never have known. Nobody would have known.
Yeah.
Because human. See?
Right.
Not Superman. No, everybody has their problems, and I'm one of them people, and I'm so thankful that you brought me in here to talk about it today. I really am, because I needed to get this stuff off my chest.
Yeah, no, thank you. Like I said, I just appreciate you coming on.
The introduction to the marijuana was actually my ex-girlfriend, Brittany. God, I love that girl. She is, she was a high school sweetheart.
Yeah.
But I never went to high school with her. Right after high school, Josh Shank, that we talked about earlier, was dating a girl, Sarah, and Brittany was my girlfriend at the time, and they both lived in Richland. They both lived 3 doors down. They were both 3 doors down, so me and Josh would spend our, right after school, after high school in Richland, in this little community. So it kind of got me in that mindset of little small towns and stuff. So that's what got me to like where I am today with my mind thinking. So you would have never known that I was battling those demons because I hid it.
Yeah.
I hid it. And most addicts hide it.
Well, I think it just becomes a part of you, and you have to live with it for so long. Not that you want it to, but it's second nature, maybe.
It really is. It's hard to explain what the mind of an addict is, but I can maybe give a demonstration to somebody here that's listening to me. People think of addiction as drugs. Well, it's not just drugs. It can be anything. It can be gambling. You could be addicted to sex. You could be addicted to, porn, that's sex. You could be addicted to so many things in this world that, these energy drinks people are consuming.
Oh, yes.
Do you think they're addictive? I do, because I can watch people that don't have them get irritated.
Yeah, jitters.
People that need caffeine or are addicted to caffeine. Is their mentor of mind this state? Does it alter? If it alters, you're addicted. Here's the thing. Don't say you don't know what addiction is, or you do know what addiction is. I live it every day. And it's going to be something that I'm going to live the rest of my life, because with addiction, you don't just turn it off. It's always there. That's why they say addiction's not curable, but it's manageable. You can manage whatever you want in life if you want it.
I think so. If you put your mind to it, oh yeah, you could do anything if your will and your mind is behind you. I think you can. So now, Justin, what does an average day look like for you? You're out of firefighter. That's in the past. You're moving forward. So what's an average day look like for you? I know you have a boxer, a puppy dog. I don't know the name, but
Taco.
Okay.
Taco. So yeah, my normal everyday life now consists of work, really work. And my tenure with Longhorn has been nothing but amazing, nothing short. My management team is a wonderful management team. I feel like I'm at home when I'm there. It gives me that feeling of the inn, only now it's a more controlled environment. It's not as crazy, because the inn was, let's face it, brother, I did everything there, and you know that.
Oh, yes.
And Crystal and Scott, hell, I was at the inn at 3 a.m. whenever they'd have a problem. Wow. I was the guy that called. I had the keys and everything to everything. It's just one of those things, you just learn to go with it.
So I would say you were the glue guy, right? Every team needs a glue guy that you can go to, whether it's, hey, I need this fixed, or I need this and that. It's just somebody that brings the team together. And I definitely could see that at the inn now. I mean, I didn't know they'd call you in that early, but I could see you doing it because they needed help. And
it wasn't even call me in. Like when we would get snowstorms and stuff, mom and pop shop. I mean, I would sometimes even plow the lot without a license, but you can do that. Yeah. You're on a private property, and and that's the mindset when grew up. You just took action and you did it, and I think that's what made me into the person I am today. If you're not gonna have time to do something right the first time, then don't even do it. And that's why I think they brought me up in that mindset to do it right, and so did my parents. My everyday life now is work. It's Lebanon County Weather. It's business. My days in the past of the drinking and stuff, I don't miss. And you know what? Every time I see a drunk person now, it's a good reminder of what the hell I used to do and why I don't do it no more.
Right. That is phenomenal, and I'm very happy for you. I mean, seriously, it's a lot to overcome, and you hinted at it just now, so we'll segue right in. What got you into reporting the weather and starting the successful Facebook page, Lebanon County Weather? Because, again, growing up, now, of course, I was younger, but seeing you at the inn, I never knew you were into weather. I mean, you're like going after some storms. I think I saw you guys went to Atlantic City maybe recently for snow or something. Like,
yes.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that, because it's everybody in Lebanon County knows, and I think it's even further than that, because I mean, you guys are growing.
We're not. I don't want to quote Donald Trump, but we're huge.
Yeah, seriously, you guys are.
And I won't. Yeah. I'm not going to take that lightly, because I'm very blessed. I am just very blessed to have the following of people I have. But you asked me what got me into it.
Yes. Yeah.
So okay, this goes back to the firefighter thing. I always wanted, and it goes back to my childhood. When I started to learn, I wanted to help and give back to the community. So in my time, it was 2011, and I was talking to a guy named Bill Showers. He was the assistant fire chief at Jonestown at the time, and he had a little page called Lebanon County Firewire.
Okay. I like that name.
That was the name of the page, and he said, "Would you like to be a moderator and help me on that?" Sure, why not? So we would post the fire calls. And so this popular page, now that everybody knows it as Lebanon County Firewire and Alert, that was ours.
Oh,
in
wow.
the beginning. And I decided, let's start.
I want to write that down so I don't forget. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go. You're good.
Yeah.
Lebanon County Firewire and Emergency Alert it is now. But back then, it was Lebanon County Firewire. That's all it was. It was a very short to-it point, and it grew too. So I pitched an idea to Bill. I said, hey, we're both into the weather, but I was really a phenomic with the weather, and Bill had a good background with the weather, so I made Lebanon County Weather. Damn, am I glad I did, because back when, that 2011, there was a time in our generation where everything was starting to change, and I was very intelligent with, at that time, how the algorithms worked in social media. Before it begot all this.
That's all right.
So that what that
I was
is.
gonna say, if you got to get it.
No, it's nothing. That
Okay.
I still to this day I will monitor our local fire guys, just because of the tremendous respect, and I would be there right now.
Yeah.
There's a situation for, let's put this here and we'll go right back. The kind of guy I am, if there's a situation where there's life or property at danger, I'm going to be one of them guys that's going to assist. I will be the first guy to assist our law enforcement officers if if it arises.
Yeah.
And my guys on the outside in the fire service, which I might be going back to, we will talk about later. I will have their back and I will assist them. And
Yeah.
I have as an off-duty firefighter, and I will as a Samaritan. If I can tag a hydrant for them and help them get something, I'm going to do it.
Yes, you seem like a guy that more than willing to help or
I'm going
be
to
the first.
actually mute this damn thing
Okay.
now,
Yeah. Yep.
because this is...
Was it? Can you share with the listeners?
Nah,
or
just Swiss there. It was
Okay.
an automatic fire alarm.
Gotcha.
So like I said, I monitor the city. I know them guys, respect them guys. North Cornwall, Speedwell, my home department, and Ebenezer, because those were all working relations in my tenure of where I would run. So I like to listen to them guys on the air because
Yeah.
I love a lot of them, and
You know them like brothers. It's a brotherhood, I
They're
imagine.
still brothers too.
Yeah. Oh, it's phenomenal. Let's pick up here. So what are you most passionate about now? You know, for a while maybe it was the restaurant business. You know, now firefighter, which is, like you said, you might be going back. So like, what is your passion now? And of course, you have the weather page. I mean, you're chasing
So,
storms. Yeah.
Let's go back here, and I want to talk about Davis Schaefer.
Okay. Yes, please.
So a lot of the fans that probably don't understand Lebanon County Weather. When I made this with Bill, it grew so quickly. I didn't anticipate it growing.
Right.
So the page starts to grow, and me and Bill are like, well, I'll be happy if we get 1,000 likes. Well, here it comes. 1,000's a lot back then. This is when the time of social media was switching. This is when everybody was getting sick of going from www.coms. Now they're going to Facebook. And I think we had MySpace, not MySpace. What was the other one back then? It was popular. There was another one.
There was something in between there.
And everything's going to these apps now. They're an app on their phone. So, and you just think about this. This is where we were back then. I knew this. I seen this growth happening.
Yeah.
So as this growth is happening, I'm taking advantage of it. So now I know the algorithms of Facebook. I start posting shit at the right times when it's going to get the feed. I start getting professional. I start going away from freelance, more script. Fast forward, a guy by the name of Davis Schaefer comes along and offers to buy Lebanon County Weather from me for $5,000. And
wow.
I said, "Oh hell yeah!"
Right.
Why wouldn't I sell it?
Yeah.
He's buying my assets from me, and Davis is just a fantastic guy. I'm so grateful he came into my life because he saved me. Really, he did the company. He had a vision for this Lebanon County Weather brand, and I think he believed in it more than I ever did, because I was never, I never wanted to do this for anything. I really just wanted to give back to the community. But
right.
he pitches me an idea. Why not make some money on this? And I mean, why wouldn't I at this point? In my tenure in life, I'm getting older. I'm not getting younger. I'm settling down. So, shit.
Yeah.
Why not make this, what was a Facebook page, into, something better? So I sold. But I'm still Lebanon County Weather because I'm a freelancer for David Schaefer, who is also the founder of Lebtown, Lebanon Publishing. The guy is very smart. The guy is just like me. He knows, where the readers like to focus their attention. And in this county, he'll focus like you on the good of people and the better. And on it just, he's a whole new story. I could talk about Davis for a long time, but he's a good guy. And he is the reason that I got paid for this. He pitched me the idea, and we'll get sponsors on here, and do everything that I'm doing. He does all the bookkeeping. He does all the side work.
Oh, wow.
He does all the business side of things. I just have to focus now solely on forecasting the weather.
Which you love to do, and you're good at it.
Because I'm too busy for all the rest of it. I really am, because my career at Longhorn is, I'm planning on being my future. That's it. Darden restaurants are fantastic companies to work for. I'm just going to leave it at that. But there's growth potential for me, and I know it. And I don't want to move on anymore. I'm going to be 37 years old when this is airing. I'm getting older. My body is shot from all the years as a firefighter.
I can imagine.
And I'm at a place now in life where I'm happy, and I can manage my pain with some weed. Let's say weed. Cannabis. I actually like the edible stuff. And that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Well, you found a good thing, and you have a very good thing in life, which you've worked hard and earned it, with the restaurant and, Lebanon County Weather. Like I said, you guys are always spot on. Like, I don't even turn on the news. I don't even watch the Weather Channel. Look, I go onto Facebook, and I go to your page, and that's where I get the real weather. If I want to know temperature, especially in the winter, what kind of snow we're getting or bad storms, you guys always report it, and you're so accurate. It's amazing. Like, I'm very impressed. Yeah.
I'm going to go back to where you say you guys. Now, I'll tell you, Greg Evans is no longer, or not Greg, Greg Horning. Greg Horning is no longer on with me. We went our separate ways. Bill is no longer, he's on the page, but Bill has a lot going on in his life. And in between, I'd always say the staff, it's really me. I have some moderators on there, but nobody else does the weather. I got Bobby Martridge from Eastern PA Weather Authority, LLC. He and Jim Rinaldi, they're both meteorologists. They also back Lebanon County Weather. So on any major storm, I always have in the past collaborated with professional meteorologists. This is a hobby for me, but I know when it comes down to legalities, people are like, well, is this guy... I think my accuracy speaks for itself with the following that I got. And I'm not bragging, but I think generally I put out a good product. I restrained my products. I used to go out long term. People would not like a blown forecast, so I keep it shorter now. Go out 3 days, and the way I do my snow calls now, I think you're always going to have trolls, these keyboard warriors. What do you do about that? So I think the way I got my style down with Davis is just, I think it's a good platform now. Yeah. And you're going to get a good product.
No, I'm excited to watch it keep going. Seriously, I'm very excited. And to know that it's pretty much, it's all you. And I don't know why I thought there was a team of 3 to 5 people.
There used to be. In the past, there was some guys on there as well, but all went separate ways, do their own thing,
Going forward, it's you.
We've been around now, 2011, so 10 years.
Wow.
10 years, and a lot of things happen in that time. You just like yesterday, you think it seems it starts, I got very popular in 2011 with Tropical Storm Lee, because at that time, WLBR, WQIC's Carson Shuey was literally the flooding is getting bad, and he was promoting Lebanon County Weather on the radio, saying this is the guy. He was predicting 12 inches of rain. No one was calling for that around here. I'm predicting 12. We got over a foot of rain during Lee, and we had catastrophic flooding.
That's right.
And WLBR is giving reports off of what I'm saying.
Wow.
Instantly did it go up to like 4,000 or 5,000. Right there on that.
There. Wow.
Just all, and the get going. That's when it was like going off. So
That's huge. Oh man, congrats! Seriously, on selling it. That's awesome. But yet you're still a part of it, and
It's gonna be my baby. I mean, the option is there if I want to ever buy it back. But see, I had made an LLC, which is a big mistake, and we got that closed down now. But when my mind said that was going to protect me, well, no, it's not. All that does is gets the IRS's hands involved in shit you don't need them involved in. They're already involved in enough. Why the hell do I need this? Why do I need to pay to the government?
Right.
And I'm not doing nothing, but the government doesn't know it that way. They think I'm making money off this, and I got to prove to them that I'm not. How do you do that? And I had a hell of a scare last year, this year filing, and it's like, I'm done. That's why it's closed. You know, the LLC, the liability is on David Schaefer, Lebanon's Publishing, and he has a set of attorneys, and this guy's intelligent, so he knows what you can do. And that's why it's like, this is just easier to let this guy have this platform, and I can do everything I've always done under him. You know, and the guy is so wonderful to work for. He really is. He the dream boss.
Oh, that's awesome, seriously. Yeah. And I wanted to thank you because you gave me the last Lebanon County Weather sticker. I'm trying to think what I want to do with it.
Mark Saladay at 911 Rapid Response. I want to give him a pitch because he's the guy there. He would, he's always for the community. And I watched him grow in his little garage. He's a small business guy like, us.
Yeah.
And I watched him grow. And he just is so big. He's expanding at his current location now.
That.
But he did those stickers for me.
Okay. Who came up with the design?
David Claghorn.
David Claghorn.
David Claghorn's in Vermont, in a little town called Jericho. And I met him on a Facebook group called Four Seasons Weather.
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of pro and amateur meteorologists and hobbyists alike. And during this time, me and Dave became friends, and it turned out he was a graphics designer. So he said, let me pitch you an idea. Well, this is what this guy does for a living. So I can give you some links to his website after this if you want to include them. I came up with the vision. He created it. And David made everything that you see now, the artwork is David Claghorn. Phenomenal. And he's, he's always looking for work if you know anybody that needs something. And he pumps it right to me literally a day or two after I ask for it. And he does that fast for me because this guy, that nobody that's a designer does that.
Yeah.
Nobody. They can't.
That is very fast. Awesome. No, so Justin, kind of last couple questions to wrap it up here, which again, thank you for everything. Some main things I want to throw out here. How can our listeners connect with you and follow along on your journey?
I think just keep following me on Lebanon County Weather because my journey is just beginning. I look at my past as my starting point now. My mindset, especially when I consume cannabis, is worry less. And for me, my anxiety levels have come down tremendously now. Because remember earlier in this podcast, I said I'm on meds to this day. I don't know if Austin can tell a difference since the years that he's seen me at the inn, but back then I was a heavy drinker, and I don't know if he can tell a difference in my tenure or not here. Can you see I'm calmer?
I can. I would say calmer for sure, and you present
more professional.
Exactly right. That's what I was looking for.
That's where I'm at in my mind because I'm all about business. I'm all about public. I'm all about safety. And I got to have my wits within. If something were to go wrong, I have to have my wits. And this is why I possibly might be joining the Speedwell Fire Company. I had a young member who looked up to me, and he asked me to come back. So
whoa,
my membership's back in there, so we'll see what happens.
So a younger firefighter that's just kind of starting on his or her journey, they knew of you and wanted you to come back and be a part of their team?
Yeah.
That's huge,
little
man.
History. His name's Chase Testerman.
Okay.
The son of Billy Testerman, who is the fire chief there currently. But growing up, Billy and me were inseparable. We were the interior fire guys, and Brad Augustman, we were the fire eaters per se in the department. Like, we would do everything. But his kid was a little bastard back then.
Oh, yeah.
And he would get off the bus, and he would throw water balloons and all kinds of shit. He gets involved, and I found it so relieved when I heard that this kid gets involved, and then not only gets involved, he gets into a leadership position, and now ask me to come back and help him train.
Yeah.
That's huge to me. That's huge. That's a personal, no matter what happened in the past with my experience with Speedwell, that's huge to me. And with the cannabis, I forgave a lot of people. I forgive a lot of people. I don't get worked up anymore. I mind my business for the most part. I still get pissed off. Don't get me wrong. And when you get me mad, I'm going to let you know verbally. In the past, I would drink. I wouldn't say nothing. Now I'm more inclined to tell you to go pound sand.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. I'm
You're a straight shooter. Yeah, straightforward. Exactly.
The way I am right now.
But that's huge. I mean, you had an impact on this young man's life, and now he's reaching out to you to say, hey, let's, get back involved. And because your time as a firefighter, you did enjoy it, seems. I mean, you really loved it. And like I said, it was a brotherhood. So before we close out, is there anything else you'd like the listeners to know?
Well, I don't know. I've said so much. I just think if you're struggling, this is where I want to go with it. If you're struggling with addiction, this is primarily why I came on this show. Please ask for help, because if you don't acknowledge first within yourself that you have a problem, number one. Number two, if you're not willing to do anything about it, you're never going to change. So when you can come to this conclusion that you have a problem and you want to fix it, you can come talk to me. Davis Schaefer, you're going to have his connections, but he would be the guy that I could probably refer to for direct security purposes to get in touch with me, because I'm not going to give him all my personal information out. But
right.
People that are listening to me, just know there's a way you can get a hold of me if you are struggling in an emergency, and I will be there for you, and I will listen to you, because you are worth it. Okay? And I want anybody that's listening to this podcast to see my story and see the hell I went through and where I'm at now. And that recovery is an everyday process, because addiction has no cure and it's only manageable. And I was going to quote, but I don't think I want to. It might be a little too much. But that's it. I just I wanted to let the people out there that might think everything is great with my life know that I'm human too, just like you, and we're all in it together.
Exactly.
And that's why I'm here and doing what I'm doing now.
Couldn't say it any better. Justin Snyder on the American Grown podcast in the Colortech Creative Solutions studios. Thank you for joining me.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, Austin. It was fun.
Dude, you did great. If you want to see more American Grown content, follow along on Facebook and Instagram. Username American Grown Podcast. If you received any value, please share this episode with friends, family, and coworkers. And lastly, subscribe and leave a review.
If you'd like to be a featured guest on the podcast, please direct message or email Austin at americangrownpod@gmail.com.